హలో స్టూడెంట్స్, మీరు ఎవరైనా కొత్తగా గవర్నమెంట్ ఎగ్జామ్కి ప్రిపేర్ అవుతుంటే మీలాంటి వాళ్ళకి బేసిక్స్ అనేవి చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఈరోజు న్యూస్లో నేను ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్ అనే ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ని చూడటం జరిగింది. ఏంటి ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్, అది ఏ సబ్జెక్ట్లో వస్తుంది, దాని గురించి లిటిల్ బేసిక్స్ మాట్లాడుకుందాము. ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈజ్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ డే టు డే లైఫ్. Every day in the market, we see the prices increase in the price, decrease in the price. When the prices are increasing for goods and services, is nothing but inflation. Generally, when our mom go to the market, she always says that ధరలు పెరిగిపోయినవి. ధరలు పెరిగిపోయిన meaning is technically called inflation. Look at the definition of inflation. Inflation is nothing but it is steady rise in the price of. It is the steady rise in the price of goods and services is nothing but inflation. When I say steady rise, look at this. The steady rise in the price of goods and services is nothing but inflation. But inflation is good or bad? I say inflation is good and as well as bad based on the conditions. If the inflation is within the targeted, if the inflation is within the limit of target, it is good. If it is less than target, more than target, bad for economy. I'll tell you, according to Government of India, inflation should be between 2% to 6%. Inflation is always should be 2 to 6%. Technically called 4% plus or minus 2%. I mean to say, inflation is good. 2%, 3, 4, up to 6%. If inflation is less than 2%, it is bad for economy. If inflation is more than 6%, it is bad for economy. Inflation is good whenever it is within the target. That is why always Government of India try to maintain price stability among the goods and services by maintaining two things. I'll tell you, if you wanted to control the price, you should control the demand. You should control the money supply. Who will control money supply in India? RBI on one hand through its monetary policy. Government of India also control money supply to an extent through its fiscal policy. So RBI through monetary policy, Government of India through fiscal policy can regulate money supply in the market so that inflation can be maintained within the target, that is 2 to 6%. It is good for economy. But how do you measure the inflation? Inflation can be measured by using price index. What do you mean by price index? I'll tell you. Today market price and let us say last year market price. Today market price of commodities and goods. Last year market price of goods and commodities will compare today's price with the last year price. Then we'll see what is the differences between the price. In the last year, kg rice is 10 rupees. Today the kg rice is 40 rupees. Price increased rise, which means inflation. Like that, we'll compare the price of goods and services in the last year with the current year. If the prices are more than the last year, we call there is an inflation. This is called price index. This price index basically two types. One is like WPI wholesale price index. Next one CPI consumer price index. We can use the two methods in order to estimate the inflation. One is wholesale price index, next one consumer price index. Till 2011, we used wholesale price index to estimate inflation, but after that, we have started using CPI consumer price index. What are the problems here? In wholesale price index, we'll calculate the price of only goods but not services. Only goods but not services. But today, we use goods as well as the services. To get exact inflation rate, we should calculate the price of goods and as well as services. So from 2011 onwards, in order to calculate the price of goods and services, we have started estimating inflation by using CPI consumer price index. Right now in India, we are estimating inflation by using consumer price index, where it considered both price of goods and services. Whereas in wholesale price index, we are considering only goods price but not services. But inflation is good or bad? It is good within the target. It is bad when it less than the target and more than the target. Try to understand this basic called inflation.